Okay, back on the van project. Riley's filming. I'm gonna say that again because this is a different video now. Remember? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's unzip. Let's disrobe this momentarily. Very risque. Kind of talk about where we're at with this. There are lots of areas where I've primed, which the reason I primed this was to stop it from rusting, because whenever it was at school, whenever it was at the workshop at school, it was covered, it was inside. And so I could take my time, a luxurious amount of time, removing the old paint. But when it came out here, it began to rust really bad, and it would basically disintegrate unless I stopped it. And so I had to go through and very quickly remove the rest of the paint, prime it to keep it from rusting. So that's where we're at. So it's not actively disintegrating right now, but there are areas that still need work. There are areas that still need to be masked. There are areas that still need to be sanded down because this is all very rough primer. And then the goal is to paint it pink. There's always the goal. And I'll put a picture up on the screen of which pink. It's going to be very metallic-y and glittery kind of pink. It's going to have some logos and stuff on it for Mr. Warden's workshop. But let's get some shots of inside, so just people at home can see what we're kind of contending with. I had begun working on the dash. I'd begin building a new dashboard, so it's got some speakers in it as the most important bit. You can see some chemistry experiments as well. Ceiling's in really good shape. Ceiling has always been in really good shape, but the rest of it was pretty much trash, and so the kids at school went through and helped me take the seats out and take everything out. And now right now it's storage for tools. So one of our plans right now is to finish kind of building out the garage somehow, get rid of some of my stuff to take this stuff, put it in there so we can work on the interior. Specifically working on the engine. The engine is in the interior. If you can get a shot of this in here, these vans are so snubby that underneath that tarp right there is where the engine is. It's right next to where you sit, which means we really have to have space in here to work on the engine because that's just where it happens to be. It's real kind of a bummer. But before we do that, we should finish, at least get some painting that's not acrylic, that's not water soluble on here, so that we can take the cover off and have something a little more substantial for protection. Because as you can see, I didn't do the ceiling, or I didn't do the roof. I did not do the roof. And you can see rust beginning to peek out, and you can actually begin to see rust peering out from here in this crack and things like that. So we still have lots of bits and pieces to do. There's like parts where bugs have gotten on here and stuff like that. First thing I want to address is this window. I need to make sure. My original plan was to take the windows out, but that seems like a really big hassle. But it would make things a little cleaner in terms of the final product. I don't want to do anything that causes dust to become airborne, because I only have one mask for me, and when I need to get a mask for you. Seek a way to begin taking the rest of the chrome off, which is the things like the bumpers, and we'll take the lights out so we can paint a little more nicely around here. Let's take the tail lights out, things like that. I suffered a catastrophic failure via the paint gun, recently, which caused me to have to take it apart and fix it, which is a bummer, but part of it. So let's get a good look in here. So we got to get in here and begin taking these lights and stuff out. So let's get... Oh, okay. Well, that may be riveted. We have to drill that out. In here, the marker lights. Yeah. No. Okay, maybe not. Okay, well, that was... This seal failed, I guess. That's what this is. This is a foam gasket that is rotting. Give us some opportunities to get around it, or to... I bet we could make that gasket, to be honest. Had some gasket material and an X-Acto knife and some precision. Can you see it? No? I guess I didn't put a light bulb in. You can see my incredible wiring job. It's a work in progress, not final. Again, like most things, this and this one does have its. This one has its screws. Okay. I guess that other one. I guess I lost the screws for that other guy. Okay. Same story. Gasket shot. I guess. I presume so. It's pretty. These are not particularly critical gaskets in the grand scheme of things, so I'm not too worried about that.
Waterproofing.
Yes, waterproofing indeed. I suppose I say critical at this moment because we have the cover.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons that you don't want to go do this when you don't have a cover or anything, like I was going to do all this stuff at school while I was inside for that specific reason. Now that we have the cover, I can still do this in chunks. Because I work in chunks. I like do a little bit of one project and then do a little bit of another project. It's just kind of the way that I do things, which can be really unfortunate when you're trying to document stuff, because you got to try to find a way to keep stuff straight, which is why I utilize the SD card system I do. Just try to keep the videos straight. I only have 3. I try to only keep 3 videos going at once, but sometimes I still do others. No retaining clips. Let's take the big ones out. Because if we're going to paint this for real, we might as well do it right. Because I want this to end up looking the best it can be, and I worry it's going to look rough, but I'm just trying to do all the steps in the right order based on my situation, because, you know, I had to move it out of the school in a hurry.
Yeah.
Let's just get the rest out with the screwdriver. Okay. I wonder. Let me get a Phillips head screwdriver. Here, let's follow me. One of the experiments I tried at one time was to wear a tool vest. I don't know if you remember me trying to wear a tool vest. It was like a black vest that had tools in it.
Maybe.
Yeah. That never worked out. It hurt my back. But tool organization and tool handiness, like where the tools are, very important to me. It's number 2, Phillips head screwdriver, tool of choice. I'm somebody who delights in extreme levels of organization, but just has a lot of stuff to organize. Most of my time at school, at school was doing shop infrastructure, just trying to figure out ways to make it efficient. And that goes for here as well. That goes for every shop. I've built about 5 or 6 different workspaces at this point in different places. And shop infrastructure is huge. Shop infrastructure helps you to or understanding shop infrastructure helps you to just work more efficiently, so you know where things are. I have to organize everything so I can see it. It's one of the reasons that I organized the shop the way that I did, was because I have to be able to see everything to know what we have. And so I try to avoid drawers when I can, but I basically follow Adam Savage's tool philosophy of first order retrievability, where I need to be able to see it, and I don't want anything to be hidden behind anything else, because if it's in a drawer somewhere, you're gonna forget that you have it, and then you end up buying another one, which is what happens to me. These other screws down here do go through the whole thing. So take a look down here. So these 4 screws hold the whole taillight assembly in place. I thought that this was going to be separate, but they held the whole thing in place too. You know, a drill may come in handy here, but oh well. I'm not totally sure how to get this out of here, so let me get a flathead screwdriver. Yeah. Splendid. Here, bringing the camera here. Let me take a look at our old friend, the incandescent light bulb. You can see the wire filament there, and I'll put an arrow on the screen. It gets hot. When it gets hot, it glows. That's how it works. That's basically it. It's pretty cool.
What makes it glow so bright?
There's a lot of very high resistance. You want something that has a lot of resistivity, because the more resistivity, the more power it can take without breaking. That light that you see, like the reason electronics get hot sometimes is because of resistance. Because when you have resistance, the electrons are trying to get someplace. When you have electricity, the electrons are flowing, they're trying to get someplace. And then when you have resistance, the resistance is blocking those electrons from moving. And the way it does that is physically. It's a physical blockage. It is physically the electrons are having obstacles put in their path. And so when they have that, they bump into those obstacles. They bump into that resistance, and that physical crash, that crashing into each other, causes heat buildup that releases energy, and that energy in aggregate produces heat, and it also produces light. So we'll save this here. So that helps us with this. I'll probably leave these little retaining clips here. Where's my sponge? Oh yeah. Never underestimate the power of the scrubby pad. Scotch-Brite. So now we can finally paint behind there. We got to get this guy off. Let's see if we can do that.
What is it?
It was a badge at one point now it's currently in the way. It's currently in the way.
Is it welded on that?
No, it's plastic. And I tried to, or it's rubber or something. And I tried to put some Goo Gone on it, soak it, so it would do that, just like that.
Yeah.
You got a shot on this? Yeah. So it was glued on. Now it's not glued on. This said, so this van was originally a conversion van. It was originally called the Star Master, and the Star Master was a specific conversion company, I guess in the 90s, it would have had to have been in the 90s, that converted vans into campers. And that's what this was originally. So that's why it has all these extra features and the extra lights and the weird thing on the ceiling and stuff like that. So now I will be able to sand this. I will be able to sand this completely and get plenty of get the rest of this rust off. You'll notice that I did not spray down here because I did not want to spray over this because I'd have to remove it anyway. And I also wanted to avoid spraying the bumper. So we're going to need to take the bumper off at some point, but let's get the other tail light first. This is pretty good. It's pretty good flow activity. Unscrewing. Probably gonna have to replace this one. The light. I sprayed a ton of paint on it. Although it probably will polish off. It'll probably come off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and rewire this car again a second time because of all my time and mess ups and stuff. Let's continue with the same. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let's continue with the same theme. Take out the side marker lights. This thing, I'm really happy with this car cover.
Is it specific to the van?
It fits a lot of vans of the same shape.
They're all basically the same shape.
Yeah, but the thing that's good is it's got these little mirror things.
Yeah.
And so it basically, it's kind of like, it's a little more secure. Which is nice, I like. All right, antenna. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but there's a hole here that I accidentally broke into this when I put it on the first time, so I just went with it. But surely this antenna comes out somehow. Here's a screw. Yeah, this whole thing probably unscrews. So let's go to the wrench drawer. Okay, let's see. That looks pretty big. That screw head looked pretty big. When else am I going to get a chance to use it? Taking apart an aircraft carrier? I presume it's normal threading. Now the question, of course, how does this come out? Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Sorry, do your best. Thank you. Yeah. Well, we'll just we'll lay this here on the radiator where it belongs. It's a good spot for it while we paint and everything. And we'll just shut that for right now. Cool. Okay. There's a couple more things we got to do. We got to take off the windshield wipers at some point, and we got to take this off. So if we take a look at this, this is a problem because this is held into place by the windshield wipers, and the windshield wipers don't have any hardware. There's hardware on the inside that is under here.
So you're in a catch-22.
So this is stuck from here. I think this is pressed on or something, and so there's not. So I'm gonna have to try to find a way to pull it off like a pry bar, basically, kind of like a fork or a claw hammer.
Yeah.
Kind of undo this, but surely there's a better way. This is all. There's no hardware in this. There's no screws in this. All the screws are out of this. So that's on the to-do list. Let us. All right, the other. Nope, got that. Let's take the rest of the chrome off the passenger door. Let's take this guy off. Again, I did this quick and dirty priming job, and so I just taped everything off. But now we got to do it. Now we got to do it the right way. And the way you undo these is there's actually a screw under here, which is the only screw. Sorry, I know it's tough. And that allows you to move this out of the way to get access to this nut down here that we now have to change. Okay, we'll put this with the other one, which is in here. But if you get in real close, you can see my painting job. You can see how rough it is. This is because I couldn't get over here. I couldn't sand close enough over here. I got some dead spots here, stuff like that. So it all needs needs a final coat. Let's take the rest of this chrome out. There we go. I'm taking out the door handle now. The point of our time together, of course, is to try to demonstrate flow, which is one of the big one of the big principles of our media empire that we're working on. Masking is good flow activity, something that's not too challenging, something where we know the outcome. But the idea is to try to demonstrate flow for the viewer. So if you're at home and you think that this work looks pleasant, then I encourage you to try to do your own project, and I can help you. That's what I do. I try to help people with projects. So if you want to leave a comment about the project that you're working on and how it helps you to find flow state, that would be a lovely thing for me to read about in the comments. So here's what we need to do on that side. This is the same thing I'm going to do that I did on this side. We're going to do on the other side because this window doesn't really come out easily. It's tough to get this side window out, so I went ahead and masked it, and I think it's okay. I think it'll be fine. I've also lowered the window down into the door. The power windows on both sides work, and so we should be able to get the window down inside to protect them from paint, which is good. This window, we have kind of the same problem. I just can't get this, I can't get the sander up into the crevices up around the outside. So go ahead and come in and get a closer shot of right here. I just can't get the sander in close enough to get that, and so I'm going to come up with a different strategy that involves maybe sanding sponge, maybe a razor blade. I'm not sure, because again, we don't necessarily want to take this whole thing out. It's a hassle, and it's not probably going to be conducive to spending our time wisely. Same thing with this window. It just doesn't seem fun to take it apart. So I don't think we're going to do that. My masking job on this window is okay, but this whole thing is made of foam, and I'm worried that the adhesive is going to eat away at the foam, or at least make it no longer black. Yeah, because that's just exposed. What's the strategy there? Leave a comment what we should do. That's good. We'll move on from that. Because what we learned is that this goes like this. Maybe. So what we learned is that we need to find something that fits in this hole, and that will allow us to pry it up like that. Except that took the rubber hose as well, but that's okay. Well, does this have to come off? It's unfortunate. Surely not. There we go. Well, we can take a look at this. Here's the mechanism. I can't move it. It's pretty taut. But this allows us to get some access in here. Somebody get in here and vacuum this out. Here's the windshield washing fluid. The windshield washing fluid reservoir and the motor for the pump are right here. This is the windshield washing pump that I bought and installed. And it did work last time I checked, but that was back at school, so who really knows? But I suppose that comes up through here and then up into these fittings, and then out these hoses. That's turning awfully easy.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't know if I like that. Okay, so we got it off. Took a while. We had both of us here. Got the bumper off. Okay, that's great. That's great news, because now we can get in here and paint this and clean up this. So we need to find a place to store this, which I think is going to be just right under here. Okay, well, that's something. This is the other starter wire. So this is the main starter, and this is the signal to starter. So those have to go. Well, this has to go up in here somehow. And this is our signal wire, and this has to go down through there, which I guess I did this because I was just testing the new starter. A lot of these things are headlights. A lot of these things can be shoved back up in here.
How easy is it to disconnect the starter?
It's easy. It's easy. It's just a bolt.
Is that something you want to do now?
Yeah, sure, why not?
We're already down here.
My problem is I don't know if we can get to it with this other car next to it, because it's right there behind the front wheel, kind of back up in there. Okay, cool. So that's the only wire that we have to undo is that. All right, so we need to cover this. So let's get this piece of trim off now. But that's okay. It's not about that. It's about how much learning is it worth. Like, what is it worth from a learning perspective? Because having not done it before, there's value to me. Are you recording? Having not done it before, there's value to me in being able to do something I haven't done before. So I have to factor that in as well. Like, to me, I'm not relying on this car to get anywhere. I bought this specifically to learn on.
Yeah.
And so I think I would like to take them apart, just because it looks like there's just 2 bolts each.
Yeah.
No, 5/16, a much more reasonable size. The roof's not in terrible shape. I don't know if you can get a look up here. A little bit of rough spots here and there, but nothing that won't come off. Riley is currently helping me out. Let's get the cover back on all the way. Very convenient, the door thing. Okay, so that was our time on Saturday. Yeah. That was our Saturday. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing what goes on and enjoyed seeing what's happening. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing work happen, work being done. I'm saying multiple takes. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. We'll try to do another one as soon as we can. Subscribe, like the video, everything like that. Thank you.